in row 3 with Nick Zielinski's 11Z. Remainder of the starting field, Blake Sapriacone 69, the Eric Windsor 79, Hunter Hollenbeck with the 72, and E.J. Gallup with the 5J. Top 5 qualify, top 3 go to the redraw for starting positions. Clean and green here on the takeoff as the pack works through turns 3 and 4. They are going to be chasing at the front of the field Seth Martin with the number 621. Battle on for the 4th and 5th spots here. Josh Coonrad in that black 00X gets by the 43 of Jaden Woost. Woost on the hot seat right now. And the final transfer position out of this first Taylor's Trailers Crate 602 Sportsman. Woost gets a little bit wide in turn number 4, and that's going to cost him the final transfer spot. As Eric Windsor in the 79 and Blake Sapriacone in the 69 are able to jump out ahead of him. The outside group not quite there yet. Jaden does like to run that outside lane. It does start to come in once the sun goes down and the moisture starts to come back up at the racing surface here at the home of heroes. 3 laps complete so far, 5 laps remain. Battle on here for the final redraw spot between the 44 of Denton and the 00X of Coonrat, separated by about a car length as they roll into turns 3 and 4. Coonrat has the car push a little bit in between turns 3 and 4, and that quickly he loses about 2 car lengths worth of momentum as we've hit the halfway point, 4 laps down, 4 remaining. Sapriacone slips down to the inside of Windsor. That's a pass for the final transfer spot. So Blake, a Utica-Rome Speedway regular, able to get ahead of one of the invaders, Eric Windsor with the number 79, car based out of the southern tier in Harpersville. So Sapriacone locked in to a qualifying position here if they can hang on for the next 2 laps and change. It is 2 to go at the line for your race leader, Martin, who has opened up about a half a straightaway on Sullivan Dickey with the number 54. There is your leader, Martin, on the right side of your flow screen, and on the left-hand side, that's the race for 4th and 5th between the Coonrad 00 and the Sapriacone 69. Martin will bring it off turn number 4, nice and straight. That car really handling well for him as he hits the white flag. Dickey still in second. Denton locked into that final redraw spot and has enough of a gap now. It doesn't look like Coonrad will be able to make a challenge to him. So Martin will come down off turn number 4. He'll grab the checkers and he will win qualifying heat race number 1 for the Taylor's Trailers Crate 602 Sportsman. Sullivan Dickey in for second, Denton third, Coonrad fourth. Sapriacone rounds out the qualifiers at 5th, followed by the Windsor 79, the Zielinski 11, Gallup with the 5, E.J. Woost with the 43, and Hollenbeck with the number 72. So Martin, Dickey, and Denton go to the redraw. Coonrad and Sapriacone qualify for tonight's Taylor's Trailers Crate 602 Sportsman feature. We're ready for the second heat of Taylor's Trailers Crate 602 Sportsman. The way they'll line up for this one, your pole sitter will be the 78W of Tanner Warner. Outside is going to be David Hackett with the 82H. Row 2 inside, Connor Prokop with the 12P. And to his outside will be the Michael Roach, number 78. Third row inside, the 5C of Randy Kosselman. Outside, Hayden Coons with the number 12. The 52M of Matt Backus. And Josh Amodio with the 2K. They are going to be row number 4. Your final row will be the Eric Jensen, number 57, and the 56 of Justin House. So again, 8 laps the distance. Top 5 cars qualify for tonight's Taylor's Trailers Crate 602 Sportsman feature. And the top 3 will get to redraw for starting positions. Oh, trouble right here on the front stretch. One car gets hooked and locked into the wall, and Aiden Goodyear has nowhere to go. He gets caught up in the mix with the number 50, or Justin House in the Goodyear 56 gets caught up in the mix. That is the 12P of Connor Prokop. The field is stopped here in turn number 2 as Prokop ground that car along the front stretch wall. You can see him kind of moving and gesturing in the car. Safety crew immediately on the scene to assess the situation. Justin House looks like he's going to be able to drive that Brodell Fuel Group car away, perhaps. I think he's resetting the steering wheel. No, the wheel is off, so here's the FloRacing replay. This happening coming down for the drop of the green flag. Contact between Prokop and the 78 of Michael Roach. And that turned Prokop into the front stretch wall, and House had nowhere to go, piled in. So it looks like they are going to need the hook on both of these cars. So while they are tending to both of these cars here on the front stretch, for those of you watching on FloRacing, we'll take a commercial timeout. Those classic Richie Evans modifieds, along with that beautiful Chevrolet El Camino on display down here behind the grandstands. I hope you get a chance to take a look. That's probably one of the cars that Richie ran here back in the day when this was an asphalt track that ran Sunday nights. And we are back here on FloRacing. The cleanup has been taken care of. The Roach 78 penalized for contact sent to the rear of the field as we get a restart to the second heat of Taylor's Trailers Grade 602 Sportsman. Oh boy, and we almost had a repeat of what happened between Prokop and Roach there as Kosselman almost got into it with Hayden Coons going down the front stretch. Fortunately, they're able to make a save, but the caution flag is waving. I think race control may have called that start back. They're supposed to start between the two blue barrels that are on the inside of turn number 4. That is what is known as the go zone here at the Utica-Rome Speedway. So, field lined back up. We'll try it one more time. They get on the gas. Oh, we've got trouble again. Hasselman going over, looks like going over the front end of the 12 of Hayden Coons, and damage to the Matt Backus number 52 as well. And a little bit of chaos happening here at the start of the second Taylor's Trailers Crate 602 Sportsman Heat Race. So the Turner 52 of Backus, that car is going to need a hook. As soon as one is available. I think they were just dropping off the Pro Cop and house cars in the pit area, so the wrecker should be back out here in a moment. And it looks like the other car, Hayden Coons, will wind up in trouble as well. Let's see how that all transpired. And that was Kosselman hopping over the front end of the Coons car, and Backus got into it, damaged the front of his car as well. Eric Jensen escaping down to the infield. And one of the tow trucks on its way. Coons with some pretty severe front end damage on the number 12. So once again, we'll step aside for a quick commercial timeout on FloRacing while we get things cleaned up and try to get a clean start to the second Taylor's Trailers Crate 602 Sportsman Heat. Well, back here at the Scenic View Campground Christian Fabrication Westmoreland Golf Club presentation of the Richie Evans Remembered 61 here tonight at Utica-Rome Speedway, and it has been a chaotic start to heat race number 2 for the Taylor's Trailers Crate 602 Sportsman. If you're just joining us, it was a 10-car field that has been cut in half thanks to 2 incidents that have happened on the attempts to start this race. We have not gotten a lap in yet. We are down to 5 cars left on the racing surface, and it looks like we will try to go green when they come off turn number 4. Now, mind you, all 5 cars will qualify, but they are racing for redraw positions, and making a 6th car is Randy Kosselman, who was involved in the most recent incident, going over the front end of Hayden Coons' car, able to report back out from the pit area back onto the racing surface. So we will go back to green. Oh, little hip check there at the front of the field between Warner and Hackett as they go drag racing off into turns 1 and 2. Warner will get the advantage. Hackett slips up the racetrack at turn number 2. And Amodio with the 2K, who originally was starting back in the 8th spot, now finds himself up in the 2nd position as they make their way off turn number 4. So Amodio chasing after your race leader Warner with Hackett in 3rd. So those are the 3 cars trying to go to the redraw, and Hackett now will slip down to the inside going into turn number 3 and battle Amodio for the 2 spot. And slipping through in turn number 4, Hackett will retake the 2nd position from the Amodio 2K as they roll back into turns 1 and 2. Well, we finally get a couple of laps in under the green flag here in this one. The Jensen car sits back in 4th, and the Kosselman machine is 5th, so that means we lost the 6th car that was on the racetrack, which was the Roach number 78. So the 5 cars that are on track are the cars that are going to qualify from the 2nd Taylor's Trailers Crate 602 Sportsman Heat. They're racing for who gets to go to the redraw. The top 3 go to the redraw. 4th and 5th will qualify automatically, and they will start behind the redraw cars in tonight's feature event. Big lead build up at the head of the class there. That's the gap between 1st and 2nd between Tanner Warner in the number 78 and the 82 of David Hackett as they come by for the 2 to go signal this time. Amodio continues to roll in the number 3 spot. There's a look at that Carroll's Transportation number 78 of Tanner Warner, making his way down off corner number 4 to the white flag. Now Warner on his final trip around the racing surface. And Hackett trying to chip away at the advantage, but it's going to be too little too late. And Tanner Warner will be your winner of our 2nd Taylor's Trailers Crate 602 Sportsman Heat. Hackett will finish 2nd. Amodio will finish 3rd. Those 3 cars will go to the redraw, followed by Jensen and Kosselman, who will qualify for tonight's Taylor's Trailers Crate 602 Sportsman feature event. So again, Warner, Hackett, and Amodio to the redraw. Jensen and Kosselman qualify. Prokop, Roach, Coons, Backus, and House, if they can get their cars together, will have one more chance to qualify through a consolation race later on this evening. Set for our next heat of Taylor's Trailers Crate 602 Sportsman, Richard the Rocket Murtaugh comes from pole with the 33. Matt Guerreri with the 12G outside row 1. Row 2 on the inside, John Dumont with the 31J and the Amira Bowman, number 5. 3rd row inside, Andrew Eaton's 55. Outside, Dave Constantino with the 7. 4th row inside, Carson Rothwell with the 4. Corky Warner with the 797. The final scheduled row should be Ed Lucas with the 77L and Paul Carey with the 1C. Lucas, I do not know if he reported, and he is not on the racetrack. Carey was a little late getting out on the racetrack, so he's got some catching up to do to the rest of the field as we go green. And Murtaugh will lead Guerreri. A pair of invaders running spots 1 and 2. Dumont in 3rd. Constantino looking down to the inside there in turns 3 and 4, trying to pick off a spot as Murtaugh leads here at the end of lap number 1 in that 180 Flood Drive Property sponsored entry. The Tradition Automotive Group sponsored number 12 of Guerreri back there in 2nd. They are normal competitors in the central New York region on Saturday nights, making a trip out here for this Tuesday night special event to be a part of the Richie Evans Remembered 61. Final redraw spot being held by Dumont with the number 31. And then a few car lengths back behind him is that DKM number 7 of Constantino. And then it looks like we have a battle brewing for the final transfer spot just behind them, coming off turn number 4. Holding on to that final transfer spot right now is the number 5 of Amira Bowman. She's being pressured by Corky Warner in the number 797. It was a couple of car lengths behind her there in the number 6 position. So that's the fight for the final transfer spot out of this heat race number 3. Murtaugh leads again through turn number 2 as we continue to monitor this battle a little further back in the field. Behind Corky Warner is Eaton in the 55, Carson Rothwell in the number 4, and they are running out of time if they want to try to get up to the head of the class, which is on the right-hand side of the screen here as Murtaugh carries that car down through turns 1 and 2 with 5 in the books and 3 to go. Continuing to open up the gap here on the Guerreri number 12 G machine in the runner-up position. And Amira Bowman with the number 5 holding on to that final transfer spot as they work back down off turn number 4. 2 to go this time by. Murtaugh also flying the VP Racing Fuels colors as well as Premier Racing setups. They do setups for iRacing rigs. Getting the white flag here. And Murtaugh will bring it around here through turn number 4. He is going to pick up the win in our third Taylor's Trailers Crate 602 Sportsman Heat Race. Guerreri finishes in second. Dumont finishes third. Constantino in for fourth. Amira Bowman will get the final qualifying spot in fifth, followed by Warner in the 797, Eaton in the 55, Rothwell in the number 4. So Murtaugh, Guerreri, and Dumont go to the redraw, and Constantino and Bowman qualify for tonight's feature event. And that brings us to what will be our fourth and final heat for the Taylor's Trailers Crate 602 Sportsman. And here's the way they will go in this one. Again, 8 laps the distance, top 5 qualify, top 3 to the redraw. Jeremy Slosik with the 16S and Tyler Pete with the 9G are going to be row number 1. The 22X of Mike Richmond and Garrett Chalot with the 349 are row number 2. Row 3, the Matthew Richardson 262 and Zach Welch with the 67W. Row 4, Avery Decker with the 22A and Tim Falter with the 71. And then the 5th and final row, Caden DePasquale with the 44D and Heath Carney with the number 14. Two very fast cars at the front of the field in the form of Slosik and Pete. Slosik, a feature winner here in the division this season. Mike Richmond, the most recent Friday night feature winner here at Utica-Rome in that 22X car. Was the fast timer starting in third with the invert. Slosik will take the lead from Pete going down the backstretch. Pete tries to hang with him on the outside going into turn number 3, but it's going to be Slosik who will slide through and complete the pass. Lock it down here at the end of lap number 1. Richmond fighting with Chalot for the 3rd position as they roll through turn number 2. Slosik and Pete now nose to tail going into turn number 3. Pete trying to put a wheel down to the inside, but has to check up a little bit coming through turn number 3. Slosik able to carry a little bit more speed on that preferred line, rolling off turn number 4. And now Slosik starts to open up a gap on the Pete number 9. Let's see what happens with Richmond now, as Richmond has gotten clear of the fight for the 3rd and 4th positions with the number 22 machine. With 3 laps of 8 complete. Chalot with the 349 holding on to 4th, Matthew Richardson 5th, and then just behind them is that green number 67W of Zach Welch, who is looking to get into that final qualifying spot. Cross flags in, 4 down, 4 to go. Slosik will lead back into turn number 3 with the Pete number 9 continuing to hold on to that runner-up position. Those top 2 have pulled away from Richmond, who is now kind of by himself in 3rd. Chalot has a little bit of breathing room over the 262 of Richardson and the 67 of Welch as we take a look at them going down the backstretch and into turn number 3. So right now Richardson and Welch on the outside looking in, or Richardson is in and Welch is on the outside looking in with 2 laps left to go. Richardson Rolls down the backstretch and back towards turn number 3 within about a car length of the Chalot 349. The white flag, meanwhile, is waved for your race leader, Jeremy Slosik, who is already down and away on the backstretch with about 5 car lengths over the Tyler Pete number 9. And it looks like he'll maintain that gap down to the checkered flag here as they come off turn number 4. So the win goes to Slosik. Pete finishes in the runner-up spot. Richmond will take 3rd, Shalott 4th, Richardson 5th, so they will all qualify. Welch finishes 6th. Falter grabs the number 7 spot. Looks like Decker will finish in 8th. The 44D of D. Pasquale 9th. And then the 14 of Heath Carney finishes 10th. So Slosik, Pete, and Richmond go to the redraw. And Shalott and Richardson will qualify for tonight's feature event for the Taylor's Trailers Crate 602 Sportsman here on Scenic View Campground and Christian Fab Night. Also presented by Westmoreland Golf Club for tonight's Richie Evans Remembered 61. So that concludes the heat races for the Taylor's Trailers Crate 602 Sportsman. Now we go racing in the Three Bastards Brewing Modifieds. The format is the same, 8-lap heats. Top 5 qualify, top 3 to the redraw. Pole sitter for this one, Darren Smith with the 12S. Outside the front row, Zach Payne with the 7Z. Row 2 on the inside, Jessica Friesen with the 1Z. Outside, Money Matt Williamson with the 3. Felix Roaz, 91 in the Will Shields 82S, row number 3. Row 4, Justin Wrights, 19W in the Ron Holmes 82H. The final row, Chris Holsizer with the 44H, Danny Creedon with the 01. And we are green off turn number 4. Stack them 3 wide for a moment for that number 2 spot off turn number 2. Darren Smith with the early getaway here as they go rolling into turn number 3. Money Matt makes the move on Zach Payne. That'll move him up to second. One car sliding up the racetrack here on turn number 4 and dropping back a few spots. That's going to be the Shields number 82S, falling out of a qualifying position here as the pack rolls down the backstretch. Payne is 3rd, Jessica Friesen is 4th, and right now Felix Roy holds on to the final qualifying spot here in the early going as we get ready to complete lap number 2. Trouble in a spinner in turn number 4. That'll be the 44H of Chris Holsizer, who got a little sideways and slid to a stop, and that will bring the caution flag out here with 2 laps complete in this first of 4 Three Bastards Brewing Modified heat races. Should be no harm, no foul. I think the Holsizer car should refire. Might need a push. And that Zelensky-sponsored number 44 machine. The rest of the field slowed by the caution, and push truck coming up. Get behind the Holsizer 44. You can see on screen on flow, those are those 2 blue barrels that are the go zone that make the start box, if you will, for all starts and restarts here at the Home of Heroes. Which, by the way, again, our next regularly scheduled Friday night program here at the Home of Heroes coming up on Friday night, July the 25th. So we are off this Friday, back the following Friday, July the 25th, as the Friendly Family of Dealerships presents Kids Night with a backpack giveaway, bounce houses, and all sorts of other cool stuff happening. And our regular divisions will be on tap, featuring the Three Bastards Brewing Modifieds, the Taylor's Trailers Crate 602 Sportsman, the Next Generation Graphics Pro Stocks, the Fastline Performance Limited Sportsman, JB Sewer and Septic 4 cylinders, the Ted's Body Shop All-Star Slingshots, and the Diaz Aviation Junior Slingshots. That is our regular Friday night fare here at the Home of Heroes. Race time is 7 o'clock on Friday night, July the 25th. So we do hope that those of you that are making a visit here tonight can come back and join us for Friday night racing action. Our next midweek show, by the way, coming up on Tuesday night, August the 12th. And that'll be the next round of the VP Racing Fuels 358 Modified Challenge Series presented by James Bray Paving and Excavating. Championship night here at the Home of Heroes coming up on Friday, August the 22nd. Looks like we are ready to go back to green. Darren Smith, this time flanked by Money Matt Williamson, to his outside for the restart as they hit the loud pedal. And Williamson will charge around Smith going into turn number 1. Let's see if he can carry it off turn number 2 and down the backstretch. And yep, Money Matt finds himself up at the head of the class with the 12 of Smith falling back into second, being challenged now by Jessica Friesen with the 1Z. Jessica, the wife, of course, is Stuart Friesen, who we will see in the next heat race. So a husband and wife team in the Three Bastards Brewing Modified division here tonight. Shields now looking to the inside of the Felix Roy, number 91, trying to work his way up closer to a transfer spot. Shields down on the bottom there in the orange and white number 82. Felix Roy out of Quebec with the yellow number 91 machine almost scrapes it against the front stretch wall as he battles with Shields, and Shields rolls through on the inside and moves up into the number 6 position. So he's one out of a transfer spot right now. 5 laps complete, 3 remain. There's the gap between first and second between Money Matt Williamson and Darren Smith as they roll into turn number 3. Friesen unchallenged by Zach Payne right now for the final redraw spot as we come to the 2 to go signal this time by. There's the look at Jessica Friesen running in third in the 1ZT sponsored number 1Z machine. White flag is waving for your leader here as Williamson on the right side of your screen buzzes back into turns 1 and 2 for the final time. Looks like Justin Wright holding down the final transfer spot with the number 19. He is one of our Friday night regulars here at the Home of Heroes. Money Matt Williamson, who has a 358 modified win here earlier this season in a feature, has a big block modified heat race win here in the first of the Three Bastards Brewing modified heat races. So Money Matt Williamson taking the win. He, Darren Smith, and Jessica Friesen will go to the redraw, the Revenge redraw. If you're just joining us, more on that in a little bit. Zach Payne and Justin Wright get qualifying spots for tonight's feature event. Second heat for the Three Bastards Brewing Modifieds will be rolling out here momentarily. The way they'll line up for this one, we're going to have Bobby Hackle the 4th coming from the pole with the 97, Jimmy Phelps with the 98H outside row number 1. Row 2 on the inside, the 44 of Stuart Friesen and the number 93 of Danny Barron to his outside. The Ginger Ninja, Jack Leonard with the 2L and Matt Jancic with the 33X. They are going to be row number 3. Tim Main with the 8M and the Robert Bublak 27B. They will be row number 4. And the final row will be Randy Chantel with the number 97S and AJ Slideways, Alan Johnson with the number 88. Again, 8 laps, top 5 qualified, top 3 to the redraw. Hackle and Phelps, 97 and 98, bring them down to the green flag coming off turn number 4. Stuart Friesen dives down to the inside of Jimmy Phelps, stack him 3 wide down the backstretch. Leonard trying to get into the mix there along with the 93 of Varon. Leonard dive bombs the inside. Oh, a little contact between Varon and Jancic. Jancic gets straightened out by the Leonard machine as they work their way down the front stretch. Bublak trying to get into the mix now as Jancic slides out wide through turns 1 and 2. A pretty heated exchange there inside the top 5 or 6 as they go into turn number 3. On the left side of your screen, Jancic falls off. Oh, look out. Danny Varon gets sideways off turn number 4, and he's going to go ahead and bring that car to a stop. Just as Stuart Friesen was threatening the 97 of Hackle for the race lead, Varon will get the number 93 rolling again here. All right, so the field will double back up for a restart. 2 laps complete. So it'll be Hackle leading in the 97, Friesen second in the 44. Third is Phelps with the 98. Fourth is Lehner, number 2. Fifth right now is Bublak. Sixth is Chantel. Johnson 7th. Janzik 8th. Main 9th. And Varon will come in from the number 10 position. Again, remember the top 5 are the ones that qualify. Back to green off turn number 4. Hackle picking up that left front tire down the front stretch. Friesen steps to the outside here through turns 1 and 2. Oh, Lehner slips a little bit in turn number 2. That's going to stack everybody up. And Alan Johnson is going to go around. Danny Varon was involved there, and it looks like maybe his rear Nerf bar got damaged. Tim Main is spun around with the number 8, as well as the Johnson 88. And we go right back to yellow. And with 2 cautions on the same lap, it will be a single file restart this time. There's the FloRacing replay. Lehner coming down into Chantel. Johnson kind of got crowded. Varon had nowhere to go. Main got caught up in the mix. And yeah, that did bend up the back Nerf bar on Varon's number 93 car. So 1 to go signal coming here at the flag stand once again. The second of our 4 Three Bastards Brewing modified heat races. There's the Nerf bar has been completely folded over almost in half, which means the right side corner there is a little bit exposed on the Varon number 93 car. That's something they can correct in the pit area after this race. Caution flag staying out on the racetrack here. So we are not going to go green this time. And I believe the race control has told Varon that that bumper has been out a little bit too far to be safe. And he's going to have to go over to the pit area, see if they can just remove that, which I believe they have quick release fasteners for the front and rear Nerf bars on these. Varon being informed of the situation here. The fuel cell on these cars is, of course, right back behind that rear Nerf bar. Varon, I think, is electing to stay out on the racetrack. I thought they were pulling him off the racetrack. I think they were just advising him of what was going on with that rear bumper, so he was aware of the situation. So we'll try it single file this time off turn number 4 as we come back through the go zone. Hackle leads off turn number 2 from the Friesen 44 and Phelps in the 98. The 3 cars in the redraw positions right now. Lehner a little bit sideways there trying to run down Phelps. Speaking of sideways, Janzik just having a hard time holding that car on the bottom of the racetrack. Blew the corner up there in turns 3 and 4 and will fall back down in line. Speaking of falling in line, Friesen trying to line up Hackle there for a possible pass coming off turn number 2 that time. Didn't quite happen. He'll roll it down here through turns 3 and 4, come back down the front straightaway to the cross flags. 4 down, 4 to go. Track starting to rubber up and starting to slick off. And it will get progressively more rubbered up and slick during the course of the evening, but that outside group will start to come in as we progress into the evening hours here. The sun starts to set off of turn number 4. Hackle leads. Friesen closes within 1 car length. Now Friesen steps up there and he'll test that outside groove coming through turn number 3. He's got some bite coming off turn number 4, and Friesen will shoot through into turns 1 and 2 and take over the race lead. So Friesen going up to the number 1 spot. Hackle falling back to second, still Jimmy Phelps and Jack Lehner in spots 3 and 4. with Robert Bublak in the number 27 holding down the final qualifying spot here with the white flag waving. Chantel in the 97 trying to run him down, is about 2 or 3 car lengths behind him, but Bublak's car handled really well off turn number 2 and down the backstretch. He'll keep Chantel at bay. Meanwhile, the Craftsman Truck Series and modified racer Friesen Stewart picks up the win. Hackle finishes second. Third goes to Phelps. Fourth goes to Lehner, and Bublak goes fifth. So they will qualify for tonight's Richie Evans Remembered 61, presented by Scenic View Campground, Christian Fab, and Westmoreland Golf Club. Friesen, Hackle, and Phelps to the redraw. Lehner and Bublak qualify. Chantel, Janzik, Varon, Alan Johnson, and Maine will have to go back to a consolation race. And that brings us to our third qualifying heat of the Three Bastards Brewing Modifieds. And here's the way they'll go away for this one. Your pole sitter from Quebec is going to be the one of David Hebert. Outside the front row, the 10C from right here in Vernon, that's Willie Decker. Row 2 on the inside, the 84Y, track regular Alex Yankowski, joined by Invader Dalton Slack out of Welland, Ontario, with a 3RS. Mike Trouchold out of Roscoe with the 28T, and Mark Johnson out of Gilderland with the 3J. They are row 3. Matt Yoder out of Hamlin, Pennsylvania with the 5. Addison Bowman from Mexico with the 12 in row 4. Rocky Warner with the JS98 scheduled to be out there, does not answer the call. So again, 8 laps the distance, top 5 qualify, top 3 go to that revenge redraw. Starting positions in tonight's Three Bastards Brewing Modified feature event. And over the bank goes Mark Johnson with the number 3 machine. He'll get it back out onto the racing surface, but he has fallen clear to the tail of the field as they come off turn number 4. Hebert is the leader at the end of lap number 1. Battle for second here. Yankowski trying to open up the inside lane on Willie Decker through turns 1 and 2. Yankowski still struggling to stay alongside, trying to force Decker out a little bit wide going into turn number 3. Decker in turn trying to pinch down, trying to pinch off the momentum there for Yankowski. Is a little bit successful, maintains the number 2 spot for the moment. Dalton Slack has rolled into the number 4 spot, and Trouchold is an early 5th. And I misspoke about Rocky Warner and not answering the call. Warner is out there with the number 98 machine, so he was a little late to the party, but he made it out there in time for the drop of the green flag, and right now he's fighting to try to get into a qualifying spot. Had to start at the back of the field in this one as he did not post a qualifying lap during time warm-ups earlier this evening, chasing the mechanical gremlin. And the JS98, wherever that gremlin is, looks like it is apparently cured now. And Warner's up into the number 6 spot, trying to set his sights on Trouchold. As we have hit the halfway point, Hebert leads from Decker, Yankowski, Slack, and Trouchold. There's the gap between Decker, who runs in second, and Yankowski in third. And now the heat is on for that final transfer spot on the left side of your screen going into turn number 3. Warner with the number 98 trying to battle his way up there, get that final transfer spot away from the Trouchold number 28 as they work through turns 1 and 2. Warner is not afraid to throw it in on the outside, just no bite there for him though, coming off turn number 2, and Trouchold is able to roll away here. So Warner's going to have to try to build some momentum back up, trying to maybe find a way to get the inside lane open on the Trouchold number 28 to try to get into a qualifying position. Yellow flag coming out on the racetrack. Trouble for Mark Johnson with the number 3J, bringing the yellow out here with, I believe, 6 laps complete, 2 laps remaining. Johnson, who went over the bank there in turns 1 and 2 on the takeoff. And the S&S sponsored machine will join up at the tail of the field. All right, set for a restart, 6 complete, 2 to go. Heat race restarts double file unless there are 2 cautions on the same lap. So that puts the second place running Willie Decker car up alongside a Bear. He tries for the outside, can't quite get it. He wants to get back down and protect that bottom because he can hear Jankowski coming with the 84. Meanwhile, Rocky Warner was able to make a couple of moves here, and not only did he get into the final transfer spot in 5th, he now finds himself battling Willie Decker for the final redraw spot here on the final lap. That drops Dalton Slack back, or excuse me, on the next to last lap. White flag will come out this time as they roll off turn number 4. So a Bear pulling away. Jankowski got Decker for 2nd. Warner was able to grab a couple of spots on the restart, jumps up into 4th. Dalton Slack running out the qualifiers right now with the number 3 RS machine as they roll down through turn number 4. So a Bear will pick up the win in the 3rd heat for the Three Bastards Brewing Modifieds. A Bear, the Quebec driver, goes on to take the win in the Paillet sponsored entry. So it is a Bear, Jankowski, and Willie Decker who will go to the redraw. Warner and Slack qualify for tonight's Richie Evans Remembered 61. Addison Bowman, Mark Johnson, Trouchold, and Yoder will go back to the consolation race. All right, here's the lineup for the final Three Bastards Brewing Modified Heat race. Anthony Perego with a 4 and Chris Mackey's number 3. Mackey in the Turning Stone sponsored number 3, just down the road a ways. They are row number 1. Superman Matt Shepard with the 9S and Tim Fuller with the 19. They are row number 2. Row 3, Jimmy Davis with the number 73 and the Dr. Danny Johnson with the 27J. Row 4, Brian Calabrese with the 21C and the Aaron Jacobs number 16. And then rounding out the field is the 22W of Brandon Walters. And one car coming to a stop here in turn number 3. So we are going to stay under the caution flag, no start. Might have been the Jimmy Davis number 73. And it looks like he's got it going once again. Green flag out, and we're underway in the final Three Bastards Brewing Modified Heat race. Mackey gets the early advantage over Perego. Shepard into the number 3 spot here, being chased by Fuller in the number 19. Shepard, winner in a thriller here over Alex Jankowski this past Friday night here at the Home of Heroes. He'll mount the outside lane here in turns 1 and 2 to test that top groove to see if he can get a run on the 4 of Perego as they head down the backstretch and into turn number 3. He'll streak it back to the outside here off turn number 4. Fuller in the number 19 runs behind him in the 4th spot. And it looks like the Dr. Danny Johnson right now has the final transfer spot in 5th in the 27J. So this battle for 2nd and 3rd continues, going down into turns 3 and 4. Shepard looking for a way around on the outside, going into turn number 1. Can't quite find a way by the Perego number 4. Meanwhile, Mackey has kind of checked out by several car lengths here. So Chris having a good run here in this final qualifying heat for the Three Bastards Brewing Modifieds. Hits the halfway point, 4 down, 4 to go. All right, so coming to the 2 to go signal, there is the Dr. Danny Johnson in the number 27J machine. Holding on to the final qualifying position, the veteran campaigner making a Tuesday night appearance here to be a part of the Richie Evans Remembered 61. White flag is waving for your race leader, Chris Mackey. Down and away into turn number 1. Borrego has been able to hold off the Shepherd number 9S. Fuller continues to roll along in the 4th spot, followed by Danny Johnson in the 5th position. So as they come down off turn number 4, Mackey in the number 3 will bring it down across the line to pick up the win in the final Three Bastards Brewing Modified Heat race. Borrego and Shepherd will join him in the revenge redraw. Tim Fuller, the 4th place finisher, and the 5th place finishing 27J of Danny Johnson will round out the qualifiers, and that wraps up the qualifying heats for the Three Bastards Brewing Modifieds. Mackey, Borrego, and Shepherd go to that revenge redraw. Fuller and Johnson get starting spots in tonight's Three Bastards Brewing Richie Evans Remembered 61, presented by Scenic View Campground, Christian Fab, and Westmoreland Golf Club. Hey, we want to give a shout out to some folks who have wound up donating some extra money into the purse for tonight. Tom Coughlin, thanks for your $100 donation towards the winner. Tara Evans Farrell putting in $2,100. Yeah, I didn't stutter when I said that. Elizabeth Bialzak putting up $50 for the 15th place finisher. And Deb Tucker, in memory of Nani and Poppy, putting up $50 to the last place finisher. That's over and above the purse money, which is significant, with the $4,000 on the line for the winner and an excellent payback through the field here. We are ready for our first feature event of the evening, and this one will be in our Slingshot division for the All-Star Slingshots, presented by Ted's Body Shop. Tad Granger with the number 8, Brett Putnam with the 85 will be row number 1. Row number 2 will be the Scott Sprague 10 and the Kevin Love